Hey guys, welcome. My name is Viral. Just going to come in and talk a little bit about the Butcher today. So the Butcher is the new class that came out with Hero Siege Season 2. It's another DLC that they added. So far, Panic Art Studios has done a good job making some really cool custom um, things that, feel a lot different from a lot of the other RPGs that are out there. So I wanted to come in and just give you like a high level overview. Skill tree, it's usually one of the most common questions. So, right now we have two sides. You have the left side, which is basically stances and effects from said stances, including the bottom node, which is combining both for a period of time. And then the right side, you have AoE, damage, bleed skills. So leveling, it's going to be really easy to just go with Flesh Ripper. You're going to go through, you're going to run Butcher's Hook, you're going to run Chain Swing. Your first actual kill and teleport skill will be Slicing Throw. That's probably going to be the skill that you grab when you first start the character. It slices through, you activate the button again, and it will teleport you to the blade. And so you can hop over crevices, lakes, walls, even. So there's some nifty shortcuts you can take in dungeons, stuff like that. But after you get some actual gear, when you get to level that you can put points into Blender, you're probably going to switch over and go Blender just because it's cool. Who wants that? I mean, who wouldn't want to be an actual Blender? I would love to be a Blender. But it's going to be the skill that makes things and life a lot more easy. So as you can see, I have a couple maxed out skills. I have Enraged Mania, which increases AOE for the big part. Attack speed, we're not so worried about because it doesn't directly affect Blender. I have Blender itself, giving us huge attack damage. Bleed damage is okay right now. And then we may rethink what the bonus skills are to put more points into this. Then I also have Spiritual Duality, which I'm in Unholy form most of the time, but when I switch to Holy form, it gives me 50% lifesteal, which is great. So when I'm in Unholy form, it gives me an additional 40% attack damage. I have more points in Unholy form right now than I do Holy, just because it gives me, again, I think the first point's 30, so it's an additional 14% extra damage. And then I put my last 20 points into something that I tested out. It's Fuel to Fire. And so I just did a previous recording on this that didn't work out too well. So it gives us an additional 41% whenever we consume a corpse. Did some testing, gathered a bunch of enemies. I mean, this is like Chaos Tower level stuff. I press the button, and the buff that you get that shows it only gives you like 44%. So, I don't want to say that this is going to be good, but it's additional 40% that you have to click for. It may be worthwhile to put it in for Hungry of the Blood and actually make your enemies bleed beforehand so that you get the additional, I think it's like 27. But you don't really have to worry about pressing a button, casting another skill. It might just be easier gameplay. I really thought that this was going to say the more bodies you absorb, the stronger it becomes. I was going to expect ridiculous numbers, but that just sadly isn't the case. So, thoughts can go in the comments for that. And then for the specialization, I picked Fuel to Fire just because it's a flat 20 damage across everything. It's not a flat 20% for the skill like the Blender is. The Blender skill is flat 20 attack damage for Blender, but Fuel to Fire and some of the other skills is all the skills. And so you can see my stats. I'm early, hard, or early late game, very early late game. I don't even have good um, charms and relics and stuff like that. Hero level, you can see pretty basic. I'm taking health just because I want to be tankier. I'm at 2.1 KHP. I started around 3.8 yesterday, just trying to be like super conservative, super tanky. Put all my points in vitality while I was leveling, and I was still able to clear everything pretty easily. Got to level 100 before I even hit hell, so that was a fun little thing. Gear wise, running a couple things. Found a Compass of Wealth and a Pearlescent Dream, both just good rare drops. And then otherwise got a 29 out of 30 Satanic Eye, running Shroud of the Enigma with no augments currently. My other chest armor had an augment, but it was for Slicing Throw, and that's not that great. Siegebreakers, all res, and then Pillar of Niflheim. I had this drop for me when I was in Nightmare, and so that was a really good add because it's one of the biggest damage sticks that you can really get easily without having to craft like a really expensive rune word or something like that. And so this helped me get through hell really easily. Gives you a lot of strength, gives you a lot of vitality. Attacks can hit multiple enemies does count on this character because if you have something that only hits one thing, when you gather up a bunch of enemies, you want to be able to hit all of them to cause that initial bleed and things like that. So Pretty good. The shockwave, not that great because it's when you get struck, not like other things like Poison Nova when you strike other things. There's got to be better things for that. But running Shroud because I want to do some testing. Like I said, there is another body armor that you would likely use. We'll just go into Fields of Battle and do a quick little demo. The other skill, Slicing Throw, you can throw it. It goes away from you, but if you cast it again, it will teleport you to it. That is basically two things when you could just have a Enigma and then just teleport around at will. It's not eating a large chunk of mana, anything like that. And so let's go ahead. Let's switch to our Unholy mode, which you can stance at will. It doesn't take mana. And so it's really easy to change the heal, throw a blade out or something like that, and regen to full health. Now, you're going to notice this is Hell 1. You press Splendor and things just die. Like Hell 2, Hell 3, you're going to find a lot more things that survive. I hate that skill so much because as soon as you miss it by a pixel, you just end up ages away and your overall DPS goes down. It's really fun to do that in a Chaos Tower and just makes things take way longer. Our blender is on a bit of a long cooldown. It's currently 12 seconds. I've seen areas and cases where it could get down to 7-8 seconds, but that's like max CDR, and that's a investment again that you're losing a lot of potential damage for. So I think it'd be worthwhile to plan, be methodical, have the longer cooldown so that you don't have to worry about sacrificing too much damage to be strong and clear content. So you can see right now, just through some of the monsters that we've killed, I'm going through this really slow because I'm really tired. Just got home from work. There are some immediate and glaring issues. We are a melee caster, so to speak. Like, I could be walking around and left-clicking things. But that's just more work. I want to run around and I want to automatically just kill enemies. I want to be a blender. And so with that, it's you have two objectives. You have one, cluster up enemies as much as you can. Whenever you're strong enough and your Butcher's Hook is actually killing the enemies instead of clustering them, that can feel like it slows your clear speed. Because then you just want to, for me, it's press E, and I just want to go and dominate. Similarly, if you use Chain Swing, another movement skill, it has enough power to it because Blender is a bonus skill for it, that it can also kill enemies. That can be useful, but more than often it's not. The other thing is that we have a glaring weakness to enemies that like to have ground on hit or on kill effects. Because if our main goal is to sit there on top of enemies, gather them around with the Butcher's Hook, or dash into them with our travel skill, that just begs for a lot of deaths. And so I can attest that I died 4 times day 1 trying to start hardcore on a Butcher. Now, coming back from that, starting softcore, I got to level 130 after 2 days, or on the second day, maybe third day. I don't know how much I've been playing this, but regardless, it's a decent class. It's interesting. It has a lot of capability. I feel I don't think it has infinite scaling like some of the other classes might, with the amount of deals more damage based on current HP sort of stuff. But I like it enough, and I think that's all it needs. I mean, we're playing a video game here, so again, we covered the skills, we covered some of the gear. I wish I could show you some better stuff, but I don't have the time to record anything right now on actual content and stuff like that. But I've been clearing Hell 2, Hell 3 dungeons, actually using keys. The Satanic Zones have been giving me tons of keys, including Angelics, which is pretty cool. I don't think the Satanic Zones have anything to do with that, though. Don't quote me. But either way, it's been a fun league start so far. I'm actually enjoying it, whereas some of the leagues I start hardcore and just get too mad and walk away from the game after 3 days. So hopefully I answered some of your questions. Hopefully you got some insight out of this. If you want more stuff, comment or drop me a message on the Hero Siege Discord, and we'll see how I can answer those. But, go take care of your loved ones, have fun, play video games. Take it easy.